Hello, Ms. Rinda. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Sachin?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for asking. First of all, let me thank you for joining us at Net Talk. It's going to be a very learning experience with you, especially since you are a veteran of 15 years in this industry. And I was really, moved by your techniques in terms of learning and development for future generation, what you're trying to implement worldwide. I think there's a lot to learn about this one. So if you could give, if you could throw some light on that as well. But before that, if you could give a small introduction to our viewers, that would be helpful as well.
My name is Rinda Montgomery. I am an educator from the United States, and I have lived abroad and taught abroad. I've also worked with students from 25 countries in the classroom, so I have a great deal of experience with global education and global education issues. I am now a learning architect, a learning solutions architect. So
Okay.
we design and deliver learning experiences.
Okay, that's great. Ma'am, something about your education and how did you start in this profession? That's something that would be one wonderful art to our viewers as well.
My mother was a teacher, and so she had me writing my first curriculum when I was sixth grade, seventh grade.
Okay.
I was starting to write curriculum back then. So,
Okay. So
I've always been involved.
okay, so that means that it runs in the family to be an educator.
Yeah.
That's great, sir. So, Linda, what I have seen in terms of your entire profile that I have seen is like you've been into this learning and development, and especially in terms of development about education, as we were discussing before. So, what is this initiative that you have taken, and what are you doing on this one? Because it's really intriguing to see someone offering a course based on competency to deliver, not on the terms of finishing their graduation and handing over diploma and telling them you are good to go, do your job, or do something. This is your certification. Because this is I never heard something like this where you can only get your diploma or your certification once you can prove that you are competent enough to deliver the work. So if you could tell us something about it.
I think my first introduction to this concept was my first few years of teaching in California, because there was an assessment in addition to coursework that students have to take to demonstrate they could write before they would be given a high school diploma. It's the first introduction I had to that. Years later, I realized that in the courses that I was teaching, students might be able to pass a paper pencil test, but they still couldn't do the work. And as an English teacher, speaking English and reading English and writing English and understanding was important, but I taught other subjects too. The other subjects were easier to measure. Music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Business classes. It's easy to see if they can do the work. But it was harder initially to put those concepts of competency and performance-based learning into a language arts, social studies, science. Some science, math and science, you have laboratories and you have exercises. But some of the other concepts, not so much. So we made that shift, and we were able to move a school district in a pilot project from a statewide placement of 164th out of 197 schools to 8th in 3 years, including a high population of students with special learning needs.
Okay.
So we realized that the competency base was working for everybody.
Okay. So, see, there has been a report in Indian media. I'm not sure how genuine it is, but then a lot of people have told it. There are at least 80% of the engineers that are graduated in India or somewhere in Asia are not employable. So, what is the rate in United States if we look at that way?
Well, I know that a lot of companies assume that they're going to have to take people on who have perhaps head knowledge but not practice, and
Yes.
that not only means the academic skills of their field, but also the durable skills. Some people call the soft skills of collaboration,
Yes.
cooperation, dealing in a business environment. Which is why I'm involved in an initiative called Campus to Career. It's going to be a 5-year program that walks students from freshman year through their first year of working for a company, including an internship or externship during their junior and senior year, so they can develop those skills under the guidance of a mentor who is in their field or close to their field, who can help them through that process. There just isn't that kind of program in the U.S.
Okay. So this 5 years is a long time in any student's or a person's life. 5 years to learn this course. So are you going to the program is designed in such a way that it's going to take it directly from the first year until the graduation is done, and then 1 year in internship.
It builds with them while they're doing their academic studies in university. They'll also be doing this campus to career guidance program, which will develop their marketing skills, their personal development skills, their life management skills, and take them into their first year work.
Okay. Is it some?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This way, companies know that when they're getting students from the campus to career program, they've already been trained in the durable skills. They've already been trained in the social aspects of work. They already know how to collaborate, cooperate, and they have had competency-based activities in these skill sets. So they don't have to spend 2 or 3 years training them up to be a junior level entry person. They spend a lot of time in businesses training people in those basic skills.
Yeah, that's right. So is this something only in United States that you're doing, or is this the concept that is only evolved in United States, or it's something that is happening in other part of the world and now it is happening? What was the reason behind to launch this campaign?
So I have a colleague who used to have a campaign like this, and through various circumstances that stopped for a short time. She was willing to start it again and is putting together that group now. So we're writing the coursework for them. We're writing the content, competency-based, performance-based content for them, and they will begin executing this school year at universities, and it can be global. I expect it to be global. Yeah.
It can be global.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is it practiced now in the American universities or businesses, or is it just the initial stages of it?
It's components of what businesses are doing for onboarding for employees, their first year or two, the mentorship that they go through. It's components of externships that they give in some colleges and universities, but it's much more in-depth and consistent.
Okay. So how does it work? Like, who's going to pay for this? Is it the college or the university or the students themselves? How is it going to work?
It will be part of the university's tuition. The students will see it just as part of their tuition, and we will partner with the universities.
Okay. So basically, apart from their curriculum that they're going to learn in the college, being an engineer or a commerce or arts, there is something that you're also going to do in terms of what do you call this one? Job skills, survival skills, or life skills in terms of how they can go to corporates, start learning. Instead of learning on the job, they would be trained in the college itself how to deal with people, how to talk to people, how to draft a proposal, how to make strategies, collaborate, compete, grow, everything. So basically, it's going to be a hands-on practical experience while they're studying their theories in the college.
Absolutely. Life and career management, financial management, personal management, relationship management, expectations in those relationships, how you build networks. It's very in-depth.
Okay. So talking about this in-depth information, my curiosity has always been, which is the most highest rated skills to grow in the market for an individual? Is it the soft skills or is it the technical skills? Because the person whom we call God, or almost like the angel, or you can call the Godfather, is Steve Jobs. He was more like an artist to us than a technocrat or something like that. How do you define define a person like that, and also what are the skills that were required if a person just wants to become like that?
The businesses are saying to each other, the chief learning and development officers are saying to each other, hire for attitude, train for skills. So they're looking for what you say soft skills, or I call durable skills, those skills that will go with them throughout life. It means this is their character, this is their attitude, this is their disposition toward how they tackle life's problems and life's issues and pursue their goals. We'll see that transfer over into their work life as well, and then train them for the skills. So I do believe they think the durable skills and the attitude and the dispositions are more important, but they want them to have that strong background too.
Okay, sure. That sounds great. So if somebody wants to grow in a particular field, it could be any field from any title. So technical skills versus soft skills, what do you call as durable skills? Which is the most important skills to grow?
You have to have the technical ability to do the technical skills. You have to know how to learn. You have to know how you learn. But you also have to have the soft skills or the durable skills that allow you to practice, try, implement, access your resources, network, learn from other people, work together.
Okay, so how are you going to collaborate with these universities? How are you going about it? Which are the universities right now are collaborating with you, or the companies that are collaborating with you?
So we have a chief operating officer who handles that part, and a chief executive officer who handles those aspects of it. I'm the learning architect, so we design the learning and the experiences. But I can say that we've also designed these learning experiences similar to these for the high school level. So our high school students in our pilot programs graduate high school with an associate's degree or an industry recognized certification in a number of trades they have choices from. And so we've been doing campus to career activities from as early as sophomore year in high school.
Okay,
it's been a long-term event.
Yeah. So one more very critical question here is like, are college degrees going to be relevant after some time, or is this going to be the skill that's going to take over? Normally in India, what happens in this part of the world is you have to have a college degree to get a decent job in a corporate world. It's mandatory most of the time, but a lot of companies do in a call center or a BPO or a small firm, they're okay with a person being a high school pass out and then pursuing his education and while as working in the company as well. So how does it work in the United States? And I'm talking about people get a good position over here. I'm talking about getting a BD role or a BDC role or an associate manager role just based on the performance in large firms. Because for them here, most of the people who have returned from United States or from abroad, they understand the values of skill rather than the values of degrees over here. Because and that's how I see a lot of the firms in Bangalore, at least Silicon Valley, which we call of India, are actually pursuing that way. How does it work in America? If somebody doesn't have a degree or somebody is not a master's, will you be able to get to a position what a certain person has, though that person may not have a skill?
Unfortunately, it's still unlikely that you're going to get a high-level position without the education, but you're definitely not going to get it if you don't come across well to people in your interactions and how you manage those relationships. What I can say is that businesses are beginning to realize more and more that it's not enough to have that piece of paper. So they're giving tests or trial runs, or there's always some sort of 3 to 6 month onboarding experience where they don't have to keep you after that if it's not working out well. But in fact, what we want to teach students is to begin to create value from the beginning, not just do the job, not just follow the job description, but begin to look for opportunities to create value for the company from the start. And that takes an entrepreneurial spirit, a different kind of attitude towards problem solving than just, I'm here to do whatever the boss tells me and get a paycheck. That's not the attitude that we're going to be developing.
Okay, so let me understand. It's not only about skill development; it's also about attitude development, right? As you said, hire for attitude, train for skills. Okay, sure. So, what kind of attitude does one should have to fit in this society in large as well as in corporate? I know people would say it has to be cooperation and team playing, but most of the successful people, if you look at it, they don't have that because they have that drive. You can take an example of many tech giants in Silicon Valley, just right next to you where you live, right? So how does it work?
When people say they have that drive, they weren't born with it. It's not in your genetic makeup that you're going to have a drive or not have a drive. What you can develop in yourself, because we know even your intelligence quotient can be changed. You can increase your IQ. You can increase your mindset to be open to learning. You can teach yourself to learn, unlearn, and relearn when technology changes and, we're not using, old Apple computers anymore. We've all got something in our hands, right?
Okay.
Everything changes. And when you get in your mind, the major disposition is that you are capable. You are capable of learning, unlearning, relearning. You know how to get the information, you know who to contact. You become self-sufficient in the learning process. When you become self-sufficient in the learning process and you realize you can accomplish, your mind will grow, you can become anything you set yourself to be, and this is how you do it. That's the part that's always been missing. It's real common in my country for people to tell children growing up, you can be president, you could be this, you could be that. but they don't tell you how necessarily.
Exactly.
The programs that we work on are the proficiency-based component, the competency-based. This is how. These are the skills, the soft skills and the technical skills, and we're going to put them together and show you early in, high school how to become an entrepreneur. We have kids in middle school doing citywide projects for their communities, service projects. Our focus is real-world problem solving as early as elementary school. Students learn to look at what's going on in their lives, determine a problem they're going to solve, and solve it with the same kind of technology or knowledge or skills that they have to learn anyway in a classroom. But in this case, they're applying it to something really happening in their lives and see the results. There's nothing better than watching a child learn that they can impact their environment.
Okay, that's great. So, what are the current, plans for implementing this kind of trainings or imparting this kind of skill sets to students at least in the next 5 years? Are you guys going to do it nationwide? Are universities open to this idea of campus to corporate, or is it a little struggle now?
Campus to career is starting next month. I mean, we're ready to roll, and whoever we partner with, we're ready to roll. We will find mentors. We will train the mentors. We will put all the materials. It's ready to go. We will launch with the university, and so they're ready to start those negotiations right away. And one of the companies, one of the U.S. Education universities that we work with closely, Paradigm Learning Systems works with closely, offers adult educator classes also globally. We offer courses for teachers and administrators worldwide, much less expensively than having to come here or even attend locally, because they're online, they're asynchronous, they're at your pace, but they're about common current issues like how to do rather than trying to transfer your classroom skills into the university, into the Zoom space or wherever they're using. And so we have those courses available now. That university will be one of the first ones offered this opportunity for the Campus to Career program.
Okay. Now this Campus to Career programs, is it only with the university or the corporates, or an individual from any part of the world he can apply? Let's say somebody is a working professional. So is it okay for him to apply?
I would imagine it won't take very long at all for the demand to help us get to the point where we need to offer this to anyone. The components of it are already being offered here in the U.S. through other means, but I don't think people as young as college recognize what those programs are. Where would they know to look? I mean, we're always told just go from graduating with a diploma to moving on to college. Nobody talks to you very much about that life management, skill management, career management stuff that you should be getting early on. Those skills are available here. We're just trying to make them available to the college students earlier.
Okay, that's really wonderful to know. Now, say if somebody is graduated, is already in a job, how much time does he require to, what is the course timeline? I would say in very pure words, like what is the course timeline for them?
The time, I don't think of them as courses. I think of them as, well, you exercise your body because you want to stay healthy, and you eat well to stay healthy. And this is one of those things that you do regularly, like you would read non-work related items to keep yourself well informed. These are the kinds of activities and practices that you do because they're good for your life management as well as career management. Knowing how to have relationships and network with people, and all the deep, durable skills that transfer from your life to each of your positions that you might have.
Okay.
So the amount of time a week depends on how much time you have to offer. Okay,
that's great. So is it available right now for international students or professionals, or is it just for the States right now?
There is a program available for professionals.
Professionals, and this particular courses is for all skills, like all technical skills as well as soft skills as well.
No, the portion that's available to professionals would be the durable skills. What we're doing with universities is partnering with them to provide those life and career management skills with what they're offering in terms of technical skills and knowledge.
Okay. So, any kind of outline, if somebody does this courses, what kind of improvements that they can see in themselves or in growth? Because normally an education comes with a guarantee, which I don't believe that if you do this degree, you might get a job, you might get this, that. So, any kind of growth plan with this one associated with this, and if you do this course with us, if university partners this with us in 5 years, your students are going to be working in Fortune 500, 50, 100, something like that. How does it work?
I don't think anybody can make that kind of guarantee because we can't guarantee the students are going to do the work, right? And that's the important thing. You have to do the work yourself. They can't stamp you and say, okay, now you're employable, right? You still have to do the work. And after you get a job, you still have to be looking for ways to add value to your employer. Okay. But we inculcate those dispositions and those practices from the beginning of freshman year. And we do offer ways to measure whether you're performing well at that. For each unit of study, for each aspect, each skill, each durable skill set, we provide the students with ways to measure whether they're being successful at that skill. So they can self-evaluate, and then they have a mentor there to help them as well to mirror back to them what they see happening and guide them. But they will see changes in their lives if they're implementing the durable skills. They'll see changes in their surroundings while at school.
Okay, sounds great. So when somebody, let's say, starts with these skills or with this career program, what are the first thing that you look at this at an individual? What skills should be given? Are you going to evaluate the candidate, or is it going to be a general course and everybody has to follow that, just like a curriculum for 5 years, 4 years that you do?
Well, there are subjects that are covered every year because it's developmental. Just like you know that when you're younger in life, there are certain things you need to learn before you can learn later things. So they've been scaffolded according to which skills need to come in what order and which dispositions preclude other dispositions. It's really well structured and research-based, and it covers multiple areas of personal development, business development, marketing skills, multiple areas. And we've broken them all down and divided it up in an order of progression that will be most useful for the learner.
Okay, that sounds great. So this particular courses that you're talking about is available to each and everyone across the globe, online as well, and as well as that which you're going to be implementing with few universities in the United States to begin with, right? So are you planning for something like this globally, or this is just an experimentation stage, so you're going to stay in the United States for right now?
It's been experimented with before. It was done a number of years ago, and it was quite successful. What the experiment part will be how we issue it globally. But now that we have so much, the technology is so much better now than 10 years ago. I know we have the skills, we have the technology available. We know those approaches. It's a matter then of connecting with the universities where the students are studying, if that's the model that they want. If they want the entrepreneurial model, that it already exists and can happen now. I just put you in contact with the chief operating officer.
Okay, that sounds great. So when whether, let's say for example, some colleges or some universities may not agree because of the cost effect. Obviously, there's going to be a cost effect as well. We might say that it's involved in the tuition fee, but then the tuition fee will be increased. There would be an impact slightly here and there as well, right? So
that's a conversation you should again have with the chief operating officer, because the way she's worked it, there are offerings that the schools won't be having to. We will be taking over what some of the universities are doing now. So there shouldn't be an additional cost to students. We'll just be replacing some of the activities that are going on campus.
Okay, so let's say, for example, the skills. Let's speak about skills. Now, the skills in simple layman's terms. If a person just passes out from his high school in United States, because that is something very relatable to you. If they pass out from high school, some do correspondence course, some while go to regular college because their parents can afford, or they get a loan or something like that. But most of the people have to do it on their through education loan and multiple other things as well, right? So if they do a correspondence, can these skills can be taught to them, or they have to do a lot of self learning for that?
They do a correspondence. Can the skills be taught to them? They would need interaction with others, because we don't live our lives in isolation. And since these are competency-based, proficiency-based, or performance-based skills, you need to practice with people throughout your life. It can be done it can be done the way we're doing now. Yes. Practicing communication skills. So yes, it's possible. We would just need to work on the circumstances, but it's absolutely possible, particularly if you have internet access.
Okay. So if I may ask you right now a little personal question, like today, if you want to take one training, what would be for you? What would it be for you?
Take one
training. If you want to do a training for yourself, which training would you choose right now? I know you are at a very high position. You've been doing a lot of things, but then there's a lot to learn. There's always, a person can always need to learn. So what kind of training would you take for yourself?
I think I'd like to learn to make apps better.
Okay, mobile applications.
Because I want to teach our students in our K-12 program, on our elementary, middle, and secondary program, how to. I've already got them in. We have our school in 3D immersive virtual environments, where they're only with each other in the school. It's just the school together. So all the adults there are their teachers, but they learn to create digital content and early coding skills. I would like them to be able to take those skills into app making, because everybody has a mobile device of some kind. But and it's just something I haven't gotten into yet. But that's an area that I'd like to see the students stretch into, so I'd like to go there.
Okay.
Anything around technology, I'm kind of geeky about.
That's right. We had a conversation long back as well. We're trying to collaborate. Is that you are working on that K-12 from K-12 education, and that you said that to me, you are trying to teach people from 6th or 5th grade or 4th grade how to be a coder by the time they finish their 12th grade or high school, that's what we call in Asia. So is that something that you are sure that it can the kids can catch that, because you are actually training them on skills, not on the books, learn A for apple, or Pythagoras theorem or something, which I do not find any relevance to my life right now. But then those technical skills can that be imparted for a kid, because it might be a little too much for that student to learn at that tender age.
We start our students learning coding skills in kindergarten.
Wow.
And they're great at it. They're great at it because of the way the programs are designed to work with them. But we also are teaching them computational thought. We don't call it that. When I take a student into a virtual environment or a 3D machination environment and have them change this box into this sculptured lamp design thing, I don't tell them they're using trigonometry. That would scare them. I just say, let's do this thing. Let's do a project together. Let's figure out how to do this project. When they finish with the project, if they ask me what they've done, I'll say, yeah, that was trigonometry. Oh, cool. Well, why would I scare them ahead of time?
Exactly.
So we take them through project to project to project. Let's do this. How would we solve this problem? What could be some answers for that? How would you resolve this? We don't limit them to one set of textbooks, heavens no, or one set of resources. We give them access to the internet and show them how to be evaluative users of the internet, to look at information and say, is this true? Is this not true? How can I verify this? Just to become, good consumers of data. I'm also a licensed librarian. Being a good consumer of data is vital, and they learn it from early on. But their whole goal is to solve a problem, not to pass a math test.
Okay, that's great. So basically, in this case, train the trainer also would be a very important aspect, because the teacher or the trainer that's going to train them, he has to have that trainable skills as well at the highest level, because you're actually teaching a person who may not be at that level, maturity level, to understand, right? Because if somebody is teaching you in a language that you can understand, as you said, you're not telling them go and learn trigonometry. You're going to tell them it was trigonometry. It was not that difficult, right? So something like that, correct?
Correct. This is what I tell my teachers. We start out when we design by looking at the minuscule pieces of learning that have to happen. So I tell the teachers, this is what I need you to be able to evaluate. Can the student do this skill, or do they know this knowledge? If you can evaluate it at that level, and then as they move through the project management cycle, or they move through the project-based learning cycle, if you can continue to keep them on track and make sure that they're answering the right questions. You don't have to know the answer. You have to know if it works. And you can see if it works, if the project is working. If it doesn't work, show them how to find the information that they need. Your best gift to them is showing them, I don't know everything. This is how I find things out. Let's do it together. That's the best gift. Not that, there's somebody who knows it all, and then the kids think, well, gee, how do you get there? How do you grow? We've spent too many years making people think that some people are born with this gift and some people are not. How is it developed? We want to show them. We want the teachers to be willing to show them too. I don't know how to do that. I've said this to our students hundreds of times. I don't know. Let's find out. And I walk them through the process together. Have we tried this? Have we looked at this? I ask questions. I get them in touch with people. We had one student who was interested in learning to make batteries out of lemon juice.
Wow.
And we got her in touch with a professor at Stanford University who worked with her. She was 10 years old.
Wow. Batteries with lemon juice. It must be tasty.
It was not going to be, she realized in the end, you did the numbers and it wasn't economically going to work out, but she did it in front of us. I have a video online of her making a lemon battery.
Yeah, that's right. Because you see, when these natural resources may run out, something biological may have to work, people have to work on. So at least she has proven that, we can do it from lemon. So it's not that bad. It's very great.
The teacher did not start the unit of study by saying you're going to build a lemon battery. The teacher said, we're going to study electrical engineering.
Exactly.
The students had to come up with a problem to solve and then solve it and demonstrate their solution.
God, that's great. So somebody understood the way to impart the knowledge, but not directly imparting. If they would have told to make battery out of lemon juice, then they would have given up. 100% people would have given up. So when you taught the process, they understood how to develop a product.
And they each had a different way of coming up with some sort of energy source. But it was their own way. And they were motivated to do it because it was their own way. That's why we make sure that when we do project-based learning, we do not have one definitive outcome in mind. We do not tell them, do it this way, because that's limiting their thinking. And it also kind of crushes your self-determination and your enthusiasm. We learn more from the kids than they ever learn from us because they come up with answers that just blow us out. Well, I didn't know you could do that. How did you learn to do that? Show me how to do that. I'm learning from the kids all the time because they watched a video or they went on somewhere or they've got an uncle or they have somebody who taught them to do this thing and they bring it in and teach the whole class. And that's the best part of those presentations at the end of projects. They're teaching the entire class. We don't do lecture. We do short, direct instruction on skills that are missing or knowledge that is missing that we see from the students' actions. They need to know this thing. The rest of the time, they're acquiring their own knowledge to create a project, to solve some problem in the real world, their real world.
Oh, that's great to know. Do you also teach them other life skills like, team collaboration, communication is going to be a part of them. How to handle anxiety, that's important because when you're growing up, when you're seeing the results in front of you and it's there, but in the time to reach that particular destination, in time to get that results and where you are, there's a time that really kills you. The anxiety builds up. So how do you handle that kind of?
We always do integrated study. We never say
Okay.
you're just studying math, because I don't know any solution that any problem in the world that has a solution that only includes one discipline, right? So we don't make the kids divide disciplines up. We blend them together. We teach them together. And in that mix, we also put executive functioning skills, social intelligence, social emotional learning, emotional intelligence, we call it, trauma-informed learning practices, all of the personal development and durable skill development in those executive functioning skills, because basically these students are, through practice, learning to do project management, because they start a unit of study saying, here's a problem that needs to be solved. I'm going to solve it. And I remember the first time one of the kids came to me and said, Ms. Montgomery, those guys are cheating over there. And I said, well, how are they cheating? Well, they're helping each other. And I said, I think that's called collaboration. He said, you mean we can do that? And I said, I think teams work really well together. Do you want to get a team together? He was like, 8 years old. I can get a team together. You can get a team together. And I don't care who's on your team. It can be adults too. So he got a team that had his grandpa on it. And they solved the problem that he had wanted to solve, because you shouldn't think you have to solve everything alone. But they're doing project management from the get-go. We just don't tell them that that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right. But sometimes I find it intriguing as well. Like when you are teaching someone to, it's just my doubt. If you can clear it out, maybe a lot of people may have after this. If you're teaching someone to collaborate and work in a team, are you not even making them dependent on a lot of people? You have to do with people.
They don't have to work together. They don't have to work together. They should be able to work together, and we want them to demonstrate that. And we talk about how that's a durable skill that will last throughout life. It's their choice. Some things they do, some things they don't. It depends on the problem they're trying to solve. It goes back and forth. I mean, the problem defines the team. The problem being solved, we help them walk through that project management component of, so what resources do you need for this? Do you want us to just connect you with a professional somewhere, or, who would that be? Let's look somebody up. Let's see how to contact this person.
Okay, sounds great. So, we know that you have been in this industry for 15 years. You have been a professional for 15 years. You have traveled the world. You have learned a lot of things. Normally we Indian, we would like to know about our own capability. So we keep asking how good we are. So out of the whole world that you have traveled, which kids are most smarter? The Indian, rest of Asia, American, Middle Eastern, or African, or European?
Well,
consider this is going to be a market oriented as well. So think that way as commercially.
It's difficult to stereotype an entire culture, right? I'm not interested in stereotypes, but I can tell you I've worked with students from 25 countries. I've worked with families from over 60 countries when I was at the district level. And by the way, I've been a learning solutions architect for 15 years. I've been in education a little bit longer than that. But I think the skill that I find that matters the most is when students finally learn to believe in themselves.
Okay.
And if you believe you can, and I can take them from the point where they don't think they can, and they don't, nothing ever works for me, I don't like this. I can help them change that. I can help them change that. But when they get to the point of saying, oh, I did that, I solved that, and I did a solution that other kids in the school want to use, and now they're going to use in other families too. And I taught everybody that, and it was my idea. You can't stop that kind of magnetic energy. You cannot stop that inside a child. It just explodes in them. And they realize there are a lot of hoops that I have to jump through in life because society is built this way society is built, but I have it in me to get through and around. When they know they can succeed, that's everything.
Okay, that's great. Although you didn't answer my question, but it's okay. I'll let it go. So, education in India is transforming right now. I'll tell you why. As I said, a report says that 80% of engineers are unemployable, or could go 5% down, 5% up. I don't know who published that news, but then we also have first-hand experience of that. When they get out of the college, it's difficult to talk to them in a particular language. They are into their own. We are actually now, a lot of education companies have come up in India who train people in different courses, technology courses, soft skills courses, and multiple things. So my question stems from this fact that while we are spending so much on education in colleges, attending our degrees, spending a lot of time, parents are also normally are the ones who are going to pay a lot of money for their kids' education. What puts a question in my mind always is like, how long is this going to continue, in terms of you have to have a college degree to be successful, or you have to have a certain degree to be eligible to apply for somewhere? Because you have the degree, you have the certification, but you are not qualified. It's like someone is tall, someone is good, someone is like, but he cannot get into the army because he does not have it. He fears the gun, he fears the line, but he has that technical qualification, right? But if somebody is skillful enough to be hired for that job, he cannot be hired just because he doesn't have a certain degree. So is the approach towards recruitment by HR, by companies, do you think there's going to be some changes that we can see all over the world? Because we are seeing something in India, which I told earlier about, but are we going to see something like this? Because somebody can be a high school graduate, just a high school, well, and then probably pursue some degree which are going to be useful, right? Because a painter is a painter at the end of the day. He doesn't need any certification from any school design, spend a lot of money. If you're a painter, good painter and everything. It's just that, for being a computer graduate, most of the people have to have that degree, though they must be coding right from their childhood.
So I understand, economically speaking, what probably is going to happen is that what we know as a degree is going to be broken out into component parts. So first you're going to learn some technical skills about just doing the lower end jobs. And then you're going to advance, and after a few years you're going to say, okay, I'm ready for the next level. Maybe I want to do some management. So then you'll take the courses, maybe through work, maybe on your own, to lead you to that management level. And then you'll say, okay, now I want to do some leadership stuff. Maybe I'll pursue that. And so it's like a lifelong career trajectory, but it changes. If you had told me when I first graduated high school or college that I was going to be a learning solutions architect, I wouldn't know what you were talking about, because I can't build buildings. I didn't know what it would have meant, right? Yeah. The world is changing. I mean, how many years ago was it that we didn't have all of these social networking, right? Things are going to change. We can't know in the next 10 years what new things are going to come about and what they have to be able to train for. So it's more important that they continue to learn, that learning never stops. That's more important than if they start out with a college degree, because whatever they get, it won't be enough, because things are changing too quickly. So if financially speaking, you want to start with a technical degree, an associate's degree, or some sort of certification, and get into the company and then move forward, or get into job shopping yourself and then move forward, and just know that for the rest of your life, you're going to continue learning, whether you're learning through watching videos online or taking courses, or you need certifications. We offer a whole series of courses that are certified through the Southern University of New York that will give you those little certifications, because the industry keeps changing and you've got to keep up. If you decide from the get-go, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I need to know from the start, I'm going to need to know all of these skills, then I would suggest a double major, business and whatever your technical field is, or at least a minor in business, so that you can start out as the entrepreneur you want to be. If you want to be a leader, if you want to manage your own company, start solving your own problems for people, then do that from the start. Some people don't find the entrepreneur in them until later in life, and it's never too late to go back and take more courses and get what you need.
Okay, that sounds great, ma'am. For the viewers here, especially our female viewers that's going to be watching, I want you to give a short description about your journey in career. How can they be what you are right now? Especially for our people who want to are stagnant in their career. You have, as you said, you never knew 25 years back it was chief learning architect. You would have thought, I'm not going to build a building, right? So a lot of people are stuck in that particular job, not happy, but not able to move. So how do they motivate themselves? How do they come to a level at least to what they are not? And
I would never ask anybody to be like me, because I have trouble doing it. We all have to be the best of ourselves that we can become, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing is that you never stop learning. You never stop learning. You continue growing. You expose yourself to people. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to go to a room where there are smarter people. Find mentors, find guides, make friends, make associations, and don't just expect to receive. Offer as well. Make relationships that are an exchange with each other of knowledge and value and support and friendship. When we went on shutdown because of the pandemic, I started a Zoom tea party every month with my girlfriends so that you can still have the encouragement. We even wear hats. It's hilarious. But so we can have that time of encouraging one another and telling each other what's going on because we can't get near each other. So we're doing it in Zoom. Always find a way to keep growing and connecting and learning and pursuing your dream. But the most important thing at the beginning is probably figuring out what that dream is. So get some help from somebody. Write to me if you want, and I'll give you some tools that I've used to help me figure out what my core passion is in life that keeps me motivated. And I know that if I stick on that passion, I'll always be interested in the work that I'm doing. So, there are lots of people giving advice saying, find your dream, find the work that you love, and you'll never do a day's work in your life because it doesn't seem like work to you. All of those things are true. But you have to become the manager of your life. You have to be the one making the decisions and the choices and choosing what's best for you, not necessarily what's best for others. Because if you're fulfilling yourself, everyone around you benefits.
Okay, that sounds great, man. And see, the pandemic has hit. A lot of people are shouting out of the roof. It is going to bring down the business. A lot of people have actually lost their jobs. At least in India, I can say that. I have come across a few people that they have lost, and you can see it on LinkedIn as well. How's the situation in America right now? Are people losing their jobs, or they are getting much more benefits now from the government?
No. For a while, there were some extra benefits for people who had lost their employment. But a lot of people aren't, and I don't think it's going to continue necessarily for very long. We have to learn to live in a new way until there's a vaccine, and even then, I think the world has changed. We've pivoted, and things are going to be different from here on out. Now, mind you, I never thought it was a big deal people wearing masks because I taught in Asia, where kids would come to class, or adults would come to class wearing masks if they had a sniffle or something, just out of respect for one another. So I don't understand this aversion to people wearing masks. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I think we've made a change, and people are going to have to find a new way to work. And part of that means you're going to have to be willing to do what they call gig work, right? Project-based work. But the learning style that we use in all of our programs is project-based. So they come out of our programs ready to tackle problems, even if they're short-term, and get great value from it. And that's how you expose yourself to people. You let them see what your skill sets are, your technical and durable skills, and then they keep coming back because they see you've caught on fire. You have that passion.
Any message to those people who have lost their jobs, students who are graduating from college, and no hope right now? I guess they're still finding it out. We are trying to help them out through Net Talk as well by watching interviews from great people like you, who have been there 25 years. They have seen 2008 depression. I was there. I was a newbie on the kid. A lot of things you must have seen. 90s, a lot of things as well. So, any message to them?
Find a support system. Get your group together who can encourage you, and if all they do is say to you, you could do this, it's going to be okay, or additionally bring you other resources, bring you other people, but you need a support system. Nobody should tackle this alone. You may be separate from each other, but don't allow yourselves to stay alone. Connect, keep connecting, and have that support system. Don't let yourselves be disconnected.
Okay, that sounds great, man. And are you open for mentoring? Because in this after this interview, when we're going to publish on our channel, we're going to leave a LinkedIn profile link so that people can contact you. Would that be okay with you in terms of mentoring people?
That would be great. It would be a great honor for me. Thank you very much.
And also, we will also, with your permission, later on that maybe probably get a link to your website so that if people want to enroll in your courses, that also would be helpful for this one because
Yes,
technical
the
skills are
website will be
good.
changing drastically very soon as these other programs are starting to launch now that they're people are through the fear of the pandemic and they realize things have to start changing. Suddenly we've got all these programs coming out. So the website will change regularly. So keep coming back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's great, ma'am. So, ma'am, before we close this interview, one last question is: are you hiring at present?
Uh, we're hiring short-term contracts. Yes, we're hiring curriculum people. We're
Okay.
hiring, yeah, we are.
So it's more towards curriculum and content development, technical skills.
To begin with, and then we'll probably be having to go into a little bit of marketing and send some people to manage our website better than we can.
Okay. Are these job openings in United States or people from India can also apply?
Oh, no, we job shop around the world. We have people working with us in the Philippines and the Eastern Europe and Saudi Arabia, and no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're open to
As
everyone.
long as we can get online and talk at an hour. I was on in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning for me with Australia. So
Okay.
it's okay.
That's great, man. So thank you for your time on the call today, Rinda. A lot of people are going to learn from this. I especially wanted to take this interview, to actually educate and get this people and get a lot of people understand, how the education sector and training is changing right now. Colleges are aligning with private tutors, uh, education institute, training institute to bring in some changes that might be implemented because most of the curriculum or the syllabus that we are doing may not have a lot of relevant. A lot of people are actually speaking about it, right? So while you learn your technical math, science, physics, chemistry, economics, civics, social studies in college and schools, you need to have life skills which are going to be useful because that's where most of the people or the children get bullied in the school because they don't know how to handle a situation which college school does not teach. They
That's
tell you
right.
to be neat. They tell you to be neat, but neat, they don't know what to tell. You should cut your nails, you should comb your hair, and then how should you comb your hair, which oil to apply. That's something that nobody has told. So that's something that, a lot of people, because you need to go in detail to make sure that everything is simple for them to learn, right? So that's
That's
where it
right.
becomes very easy. An example before we end the show is like I was told back in 2006, go and target IT companies, you will get deals. Now I would type in Google IT companies and I would send emails or something. I would never get any. 1 year after that, till the time I quit, I was one of the guy who generated a good number of leads, or in terms of deals as well. Because I understood they gave a statement, but they never told how to imply that statement.
Yes.
So IT companies, no. ERP based, CRM. So these are the keywords that you need to learn, understand the various types of IT companies. That's how the search engine is going to pull up. That's how you're going to do which title to target. That's how it's going to work. So please keep the information in detail. If any education institute or someone is listening, go into detailing of every single thing so that it becomes easy for people to understand. As Ms. Brinda said,
Thank you.
make it easy for people to understand. Don't say it's trigonometry. It's an
It's
activity.
competency-based. We see right away if you don't get it and we go back and fix it.
That's right. That's right. So that's going to be make it more easy. So let's make learning more fun and more enjoyable rather than a long journey and terrible and people just want to get out.
Make it success after success after success.
That's right, man. Thank you for joining us at Net Talk. It's a pleasure talking to you, Rinda.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Rinda has a 15 years, 25 years of experience, 15 years in this profession. They're trying to implement various things at the very initial level of education from K-12. The reason being they want to develop people who can deliver on competency, not just finish their course of a given timeline and give a certification and good to go. Because most of us take certification. Not everyone, but most of us can take certification, but they cannot implement what they have learned because they just are in a hurry to finish the certification and add to their several list of certificates. But here she is trying to bring a change. The change is we will only give you certification or a diploma if you show us that you are competent enough to finish that task, which is a wonderful way of doing it. So unless and until you deliver and show us you can do it, you will not get the degree. So that's something that needs to be implemented all over. That also will tell you how good education institutes are actually looking towards the well-being of students as well, because having classes will not make a difference. Developing classes is something that's going to make a big difference. So that's what we have to look at for. And now, thank you for joining us at Net Talk. Please do comment on various interviews that we have posted on YouTube channel. Our channel is growing. We need more support. We need to reach out to more people. A lot of people are losing jobs. We are trying to our best to see what we can do. By the way, she is hiring all over the world, so probably people can apply. It's going to be a great way to learn as well. Thank you for joining. Take care. Bye.